Question number 12, the Honourable David Parker.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Prime Minister. Does he stand by his statement today that the Honourable Murray McCully was saying, quotes, he didn't want the lawyers brought in to be talking about compensation because the deal was never about compensation, and he didn't want lawyers going in there saying that, end quote, given that Cabinet noted, and I again quote, that settlement for the long-running dispute, in quotes, was part of the purpose of the $4 million payment to a Saudi investment. If so, why?
The right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, yes. Mr Speaker, I would note the reference to the settlement of the dispute was one of several things noted in the Cabinet paper with regard to the $4 million. The paper also noted that the $4 million recognises the intellectual property which the Saudi investor brings to the platform and the services and in-market networks he will contribute.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, the Honourable David Parker.
Is he aware that a month after Mr McCully's statement that he didn't want any financial contributions to be treated as compensation, Mr McCully further directed officials to find, quotes, the appropriate mechanism to meet Al Khalaf's concern for compensation, possibly through a joint venture? And if so, why does he still say the $4 million cash payment has nothing to do with compensation?
Mr Speaker,
the right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, well, I'm not aware of that particular statement, but I'm sure it's contained in the 900 pages of the documents released. But, Mr Speaker, the reason I say that is because it's correct, and that is because there was a long-running dispute started by the previous Labor government, for which this government took responsibility of fixing up. There were many reasons why we addressed it. Some of them were the FTA. Some of them were our relationship with Saudi Arabia, and some of them were to showcase New Zealand products.
Point of order, Mr Speaker.
Point of order, the Honourable David Parker.
I seek leave to table a document that shows Minister McCully directed officials to find, quotes, an appropriate mechanism to meet Mr Al Khalaf's...
Date of the document?
It is the 19th of April 2012, and it's a briefing note of MFATs.
I'll leave us sought to table that particular note. Is there any objection? There is none. It can be tabled.
Thank you, Mr
Supplementary
Speaker.
question, the Honourable David Parker.
If the payment was in no way compensation, why did he tell the media in May that, quotes, the view of the Cabinet was that there was a case the investor had put up, that we may have to fight that in the court, that there was probably a faster way of trying to resolve that? Did he mislead the public in May, or did he mislead the public this morning?
Mr Speaker,
the right Honourable Prime
no,
Minister.
the one and the same thing.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, the Honourable David Parker.
Why did he not answer the repeated questions on Morning Report this morning about what value New Zealand received for the money paid to the Al Khalaf Group, in particular the $4 million cash payment up front?
Mr Speaker,
the right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, the member needs to either re-listen to the tape or go and read the full transcript. I absolutely answer the question, but what I did very accurately was start by saying this was a mess created by Labor. And unfortunately, Susie Ferguson didn't want to hear it any more than the Labor Party. But the problem is, it's true.
Supplementary.
Order. Supplementary question, the Honourable David Parker.
How can he say that the transaction was so routine that the Treasury didn't need to be consulted when the arrangement was so unusual that the MFAT CEO had to go and try and explain its unique nature to the Auditor-General?
Mr.
The right
Speaker,
Honourable Prime Minister.
The member will have to show us where I said it was so routine.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, the Honourable David Parker.
Isn't it now clear that the $4 million cash payment to Al Khalaf was dressed up as a joint venture in order to get around the Public Finance Act, and doesn't that mean that Minister McCully broke the law?
The right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, no, the official advice was quite clear that it was quite lawful and within the delegated authority that MFAT has.
Order. Order. That concludes questions for oral answer. Would some honourable member care to move that the House order? Would some honourable member care to move that the House take note of miscellaneous business?
Mr Speaker, I so move.
The Honourable Stephen Joyce.